Welcome back to Photos with Yanni. Today we're going to be doing a little bit more of Lightroom editing. This is going to be a very quick video. I want to show you my workflow and a couple of tips that I want to talk to you about and what to do to give a little punch to your image and help you out in general with Lightroom. So without further ado, let's get started. As always, if you like us, like the channel, follow the channel, share us so we can, you can help us grow. So number one, I always talk about shooting in RAW. And this is one of those instances that you should definitely do it because Lightroom does not change the RAW file. Whatever changes you make in the original file, they don't matter. You can change the colors, you can do whatever you want, and with a click of a button, your original file is there and it's safe. So that's really important, and that's with shooting in RAW. And now we're going to go into Lightroom. Number two is do not underestimate the auto button. The auto button is right here. You press it and it's a fantastic point. It's a great jumping off point to start your image. A lot of people are afraid to use auto, but the AI algorithm in there is sophisticated enough to give you a good jumping off point on what you want to do in your image. So you don't have to play with those sliders if you don't want to, but we're still gonna mess with them. I personally prefer get my highlights down, get my shadows up, and from there I'm going to give it a little bit of contrast and maybe just bump up the exposure. Well, I'm going to find a different way to add light to it, but that's the mood that I'm personally looking for to do in Lightroom. Number three, straighten the image. It makes the world of a difference between a mediocre image and a really good one. You don't want to get dinged for an image that's lopsided. As you can see, pressing the crop button, going outside Lightroom and straighten it up just a little bit, it makes all the difference in the world. Number four, this is one of those tricks that took me a little bit more to learn, but I'm so happy that I learned it because not only it helps me with my image, but it also allows a lot more light to enter the image. So let's take a look at it. And what that is these two buttons right here. Remove chromatic aberration and enable profile corrections. See, it makes your image immediately flatter and just a tad brighter. Is going to recognize what lens you're shooting with right here. It's definitely really important to do that. The AI is smart enough to know what you're talking about. Number five, correct the white balance. One of the other things of shooting in RAW is you can change the colors as you see fit. There's a slider here in Lightroom that we can make the image either warmer or cooler depending on how we want to fix it. By scrolling up here under the temp balance, the temp slider, we can make it cooler or warmer. I prefer it a little bit warmer. So there we go, that's pretty good. This is still a little bit darker. There we go. That's perfect. That's bright enough as I want it to be right now. Number six, crop accordingly. You don't want to have a vast image and your subject be completely out of focus. I mean, in this image, what exactly are we trying to showcase? It's a field, but it's pretty wide. One of the beautiful things in Lightroom is that we can crop it and we can set up the Instagram crop 4x5 here. Then I really like how this is set up. The good thing about cropping is that there is a rule of thirds. It can follow it and make it exactly how we want it to be. And that's a pretty decent image. And number seven, use presets. My presets are for free, as you know, the link is below. And it's another great jumping off point to express yourself in the image. So let's go back and see it. All my presets are right here. You can see it in Lightroom. For one time, I was really all about this one or all about this one. But now I have a really good golden landscape that's too dramatic. For my wildlife, I think I'm gonna go with this one. Now, again, remember, the preset is just the jumping off point. It's still another way for you to express yourself, and a perfect way to do it, right? So going back in here, it has a little bit too much clarity. Remember, clarity can actually give you a lot of light. So, gonna make this just a little bit lighter. Gonna give it a little bit more texture. I love the colors on this, I really do. But I think I want my greens to be just a tad lighter more. My blue is just a little bit darker. Of course, being me, I want my stuff a little bit more saturated. There we go. Now let's see how we're doing with noise. It's not bad. It's not a bad little image. I'm going to give you an extra tip right now. In order to make that sky pop out a little bit more, look at what we're about to do. So the trick to this one is we're going to create a little gradient up here. Going to give it a little bit more contrast. I'm going to give it a little bit more texture and just a tad more clarity. Just a smidge of the haze, but at the same time I want it lighter. Not too light to overblow it. There. This is what we started. This is how we're doing it. I'm kind of digging this. It's not bad. Not bad at all. So there you have it, my original first 7 +1 tips on how to use your workflow in Lightroom. If you like this video, share, comment. Let's help this channel grow. I'm going to follow this up with a more intricate depth in how I use Lightroom and what other tips and tricks out there. As always, many thanks to Photography Beginners Group on Facebook and Radio FM Andromeda. Until next time, thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you out there.